So this weekend, Trump once again echoed dictators, praised autocrats, repeated racist language, and was still cheered on by arenas packed with people who will cast their ballots in just over 1 month. During that speech on Saturday in New Hampshire, Trump once again said immigrants are, quote, poisoning the blood of our country. Now, that's clearly inflammatory. It's dehumanizing. It's white supremacist rhetoric. And as we mentioned on this show last time Trump said this, it very clearly echoes the words of Hitler. In the same speech, Trump also called Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban highly respected. Yes, that is the same Viktor Orban who dismantled democracy in Hungary and said he opposes a mixed-race society. Trump also noted that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is very nice, not words most people would use. Yes, the same Kim Jong-un who consolidated power by executing anyone that stood in his way. And Trump quoted Vladimir Putin, citing the time that Putin called the criminal cases into Trump politically motivated. Yes, the same Vladimir Putin who is under investigation for war crimes and a notorious oppressor of free speech and freedom of the press. For Donald Trump, that guy is once again being used as some sort of a validator in his campaign. And in his speech the very next day here in Nevada, Trump kept at it, claiming migrants were invading the U.S. from prisons and mental institutions while re-upping his promise to conduct the, quote, largest deportation operation in American history. Now, if you're sitting at home right now thinking, that is terrible, that's horrible, that is obviously not consistent with the language or values we should expect from an American president, you are right. Believe me, I get it. I've worked for 2 of them. You might be saying to your friends and neighbors, this is not who we are. You might be hoping this rhetoric will sink his campaign, because who on earth could actually support and endorse this? The answer is, unfortunately, more people than you might think.
Day one dictators, you know what? We gonna drill, baby, drill. Baby. Hey, how many people here? Now, normally I know you probably wouldn't in America, but considering what they've done to this man, how many people here support day one dictator?
Now, that's just a representation, but they're cheering in that video the day one dictator in New Hampshire, which holds the second crucial contest of this election cycle. So what about the first contest? Well, a woman from Northwest Iowa told the Washington Post recently, quote, I love it. My kids call me a dictator. I thought my parents were dictators. He said he was only going to do it for a day. Like if you had a home that was in disrepair and your parents came in and they were firm and they wanted to get it done. And when you got done, you had this beautiful home. How could you be mad? How could you be mad? But before the right wing accuses me of having a deplorables moment, which they probably will anyway, the audience for my point is actually not the people who agree with those comments or who are in those videos, but the ones who don't. Probably the overwhelming majority of you watching right now. Because as one of my first guests tonight writes, a durable coalition seems fully comfortable entrusting the White House to the guy who left behind a Capitol encircled with razor wire fence and 25,000 National Guard troops protecting the federal government from his own supporters. You can dismiss Trump voters all you want, but give them this. They're every bit as American as any idealized version of the place. If Trump wins in 2024, his detractors will have to reconcile what it means to share a country with so many citizens who keep watching Trump spiral deeper into his moral void and still conclude, yes, that's our guy. And this isn't just anecdotal. It's also registering in the polls. According to a new survey of likely Republican caucus goers in Iowa, 42% say they are more likely to support Trump for claiming immigrants are poisoning the blood of America. 43% are more likely to support him for saying his enemies needed to be rooted out like vermin. And 50% say they are more likely to vote for Trump because of his promise of sweeping raids, giant camps, and mass deportations of immigrants. More likely to vote for him. So again, echoing Hitler, backing up racist talk with racist plans, that's making large swaths of Iowa Republicans more likely to vote for him, according to these polls. And as we get closer to votes being cast, as the legal heat on him intensifies, Trump is clearly slipping in this violent language more and more. A dictatorial speech there, an authoritarian Truth Social post here. He's kind of trying to normalize his extreme fascist rhetoric to condition his supporters to be okay with it. And it seems to be working. I mean, there is a market for the tyranny he's selling. At the end of the day, it'll be up to all of us, everyone, to decide if this is the kind of country we want to live in. But for lots of people right now, the answer seems to be yes. For lots of people, that's still their guy. And it's important to be aware of that as well.